Hey guys, so we will be getting Kater's kit. She will be getting a new BT and new FR. So let us discuss about her kit. And to start off, do you need or want Kater's BT? I would say definitely you would want her BT. So her BT grants the party 100% evasion and additional trigger of counter attacks. So this is very important because first of all, we have Calgar. I'm going to directly compare her with Calgar since Calgar is just a few events back and a lot of us has been using Calgar to solo a lot of content to the point that we are even bringing another bronze unit so that we can complete the ticket mission. So Calgar, he does a lot of damage. If you round it up about 10 over HP dumps, on one single enemy if you add up his preemptive attacks as well as his counter. But what Calgar don't do is effectively protecting the party against AoE attacks. So if an enemy gonna do an AoE attack, even if Calgar can evade, your party cannot, so they might just die. So Cater's kind of like solve that problem. So they are not the same units. So basically, if you are fighting an enemy that constantly do AoE attack, you will find that Cater is the better unit against those enemies rather than Calgar. So while she have a better defensive mechanism for the party, that means that she will do less damage compared to Calgar. So that is probably how they balance kits, right? You have good utility, you do slightly lesser damage. You have no utility, you do amazing damage. So Cater, even though lesser, is about 3 HP dump per counter. So she will be doing 2 counters and that is 6 HP dumps. And her EX applies a trap. The trap is 3 HP down, 1 splash. So if you're like fighting against 2 enemies, that would be 4. So overall, when her trap is up, you will deal about 10 HP down per enemy, which is not bad at all. And if her trap is not up, then she still do 6 HP down, which is actually sufficient and good enough to defeat, a lot of fight. As we all know, if often can work against an enemy, usually you won't even completely use your force time and you have defeated the enemy. So Cater's kit, she is an off-turn DPS. She defends through party evasion and she also have freeze debuff from her LD, which is something really good. Even if you are not pulling for Cater, even if you're not pulling for Cater's BT or FR, do get her LD. Okay, her LD is actually pretty good. She was actually just featured back several months back, I believe, and I did recommend to pull on a certain banner just to get her LD because that LD is very useful. It's like Raijin, it's like Setzer. You can stop an enemy force attack just by using her LD. Oh, one thing I forgot, she is also an enchanter if you activate her FR. So how to use Cater's kit? Okay, as a off-turn unit, obviously remove all of her speed, like every single speed buff that she have, remove it. Okay, and if you want to start, use her BT first, then use her FR. She have 8 turns BT, so it's more than enough to last the entire fight. So you can always start with her BT first, then use her FR to optimize the overall damage output from her. Her FR is pretty good to be used as a main FR for off turn. So every time she evades, that's 50%, and then each time she counter is 5%. So including 2 counters, basically is 60% per enemy. And if you have character like Core, and let's say Core will be striking, let's say twice or 3 times even, then that's additional 15%. And let's say, who else, like if you have who else is off turn, I can't really remember, and it's not going to fight for because Cater needs to evade in order to counter. So if you have like another unit that have taunt, while Cater have it, but her taunt doesn't last very long. So if like you have another character like Ruby Kante, and enemy will be attacking them instead of Cater, then that can become a problem. Okay, you won't be able to dish out as much damage as you want. So maybe you can bring another like trap user or something, so every time this trap activates it's another 5%. So if you do it right, you can get about 80% every time an enemy is attacking you, which is awesome, which is very similar to what Calgar can do as well. And on top of that, her FR has 30% HP damage limit up, and she has Ice Enchant, okay, which makes it easier for your unit to generate that 5% HP damage bonus per turn. And another good point about her is that she has a non-attacking ability, so you can use that to fast charge. Basically now, with enemies not doing something like lethal during their force time, and except for area 8, but other fight that we will be getting, there will not be a condition like you will not be able to damage the enemy after their force time activates. So in that case, you probably will just use fast charge, not really to outcharge the enemy, but just to make it faster so you can activate your own FR. To me, that is still something good. You don't want to waste your time taking so many turns for no specific reason, so fast charge still works very well to expedite or speed up the entire run. So you can always do that with Cater, fast charge, full gauge, or slightly before full gauge you can use a BT. Then the next turn you use a FR, then you give enemy as many turns as possible. In terms of crystal passive, I am recommending D3 and D6 just to make her as slow as possible. If you don't have it, it doesn't matter. I can assure you, you can still complete fight rather easily. Maybe with D3 and D6 you complete the fight within maybe 5 to 6 force time, but without D3 and D6 maybe just additional 2 turns or something, right? It's not that big of a difference. Overall, I'm giving her a 8.5. She's actually pretty good. If you want, you can actually use her to solo content as well, just like Ruby Kante and Calgar. But I do prefer using her kit in a full party just because she have that evasion for the entire party. Sometimes, you know, like you are using Ruby Kante and Calgar, the reason why you actually use them to solo because they doesn't protect the party that well. Alright, they can't die, but that doesn't mean the party cannot die. So it's easier just to bring them solo. So for Cater, due to the 100% party evasion, you can bring another 2 off-turn unit and have more fun that way. I always consider DFFOO as a game where you build your party, right, and synergize your party to do amazing stuff and not just solo. Okay, I do solo because there is a demand. People is asking on the video about Calgar soloing content and carrying bronze, so I do get that. But personally, I do not actually prefer to run a solo run. For me, I might actually skip this unit. I do have a fair share playing with Cater on the JP side, so I'm not that keen to actually use her again, especially when there's so many units coming out and there is so much synergy between this unit that I do want to test out. So I guess I will be passing on Cater's kit. Hopefully I get her FR with the free draw, because I do know that I will still be able to use her even without her BT, so I can kind of like demonstrate that kind of runs. Yeah, but if I don't get them, I'm not sure if I will be pulling. My ticket is quite low right now, but I do have a lot stashed up in the summon, right? Not the summon board, but I kind of like shifted that to the spiritus, right? We have the treasure there, so I did not collect them, so I do have some tickets there. But my current ticket is actually quite low, so probably I would just skip her out. But every time I say I will skip a unit, and I throw some ticket, and end up getting the FR anyway. So yeah. Anyway, good luck to you guys who is pulling for her, and have fun. Goodbye.